What is going on, YouTube? It's Tyler from Mission VR, where it's my mission to bring you guys good quality VR content. So today we are going to be taking a full look at Larcenauts. This game was pretty controversial on launch day, and rightfully so, as it pretty much has a lot of hot and cold things going on in it. So we're going to talk about everything in this review, all the good, all the bad, and really what I think about this game and the future of it. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. That being said, make sure you guys do drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm bringing a ton of VR game reviews and other VR related content, so make sure you guys stay around for that. Also, if you're interested in joining a VR community, my Discord server's link is in the description below. I will be doing a giveaway there pretty shortly, so if you guys are interested in that, do check that out, please. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on into our content section. Okay guys, so first up, I like to start with content. What are you actually going to be getting in this game for the price tag of $29.99 on both the Oculus Store as well as the Steam VR Store? So right away with content, this is both a very content heavy and content lacking game at the exact same time, if that makes any sense. So we're going to talk about that just a little bit here. So first things first, where do we have a heavy amount of content? In the actual characters themselves in this game. And this is actually a really good thing. There are currently 8 specialists that you can play in a game. So you have 8 heroes. Now each of these heroes have a pretty dynamic set of skills that will actually take some time to master and learn. And I think that this is actually really done well. They have a pretty deep progression system, as in there's quite a lot of upgrades that you can actually undertake as the heroes, as well as different loadouts, different skins. There's a lot going here as heroes. So if you're somebody who really likes to main a certain class or really wants to learn how to play a certain class, there's plenty of hours involved in mastering one class. And then of course there's 7 other classes that if you want to take a shot at, you definitely can. So that's where the game shines when it comes to content. There's actually a lot to do per hero basis. Now, where the game is lacking content is exactly what I was worried about in my original Game Watch video that I did on this game, is the fact that there's just not enough game modes in this game. There's only 4 game modes and 4 maps, which is okay in the sense that the maps, you can play any game mode on any map, so it's not like a dedicated map to a dedicated game mode, kind of like Hyperdash is. You can play any game mode on any map. Now, of course, these game modes, vary in length and what you're actually doing, but there's only a couple of them that really thrive as team-based modes, and surprisingly, the Team Deathmatch is actually one of them. But they're in these game modes, I feel that they're just not long enough. The score happens a little bit too fast. I mean, I played a domination map the other day, and the match was over in like less than 5 minutes, and just that's not enough time to get into a game. And there's times that you will find that when you're in the middle of playing in a match that everybody in your team only has like 4 to 5 kills and you end up winning a game. That's just not enough time to get into a competitive lobby. Now, obviously not every lobby is like that, but I would definitely like to see on side of the content things, some game modes that last a little bit longer, or just in general increase the score of the existing game modes to some extent. Now, something that I think that this game would really benefit heavily from would be like a payload game mode where you actually have to move the objective or the cart to the end of the thing. So attack and defense game modes are very, very welcome in team-based shooters, and this game has none of them, which is definitely an alerting thing if you're looking for something like that. I think when you're playing in a team game like this, and where this game really does shine is in working together as a team. You have a class that's a tank, you have a class that's a healer, then you have your damage classes, your support classes. If your team is utilizing those classes appropriately, it can become a lot of fun because everybody's using their specialist in the right way. Now, however, just the game modes, you just don't have an opportunity to do that a ton in. There is definitely an opportunity to do it, but I would love to see some attack and defense game modes because this is where that would really shine. So yes, when it comes to the operator side of things, and what you're actually doing with the characters, there's actually quite a bit of content here, but when it comes to game modes and maps, we're lacking just a little bit, and that'll definitely improve as the game goes on. But for $30, it would have been nice to see probably 2 more maps, and maybe another game mode or 2 would have really been nice to see at launch. But overall, the content isn't necessarily the biggest problem with this game, and we're going to talk about that a little bit here coming up. But lastly, when it comes to our content section here, I do want to mention one thing that is also something that definitely needs addressed when it comes to content-wise. And if this game, at some point maybe suffers from a little bit of a player base drop, which right now the player base is actually pretty prevalent, so it's not a huge issue. But if you do get into a lobby where there are no players and you're playing against bots, the AI is atrocious. And I mean, it is actually some of the worst AI I've ever played against in any video game. I mean, they leave spawn and they run at you in a line, and you can see that on screen now. It's just not challenging at all. If you have a team full of players and they have a team full of bots, yeah, there's obviously going to be a disadvantage there with any game. But in this particular case, it's horrifically bad. It's not even close. It's not challenging at all. So it's something that they definitely need to address, just to prevent people from, logging on and be like, well, I can't find a game with players, so I'm done with this game. So that's something I'd definitely like to see them also improve in the content section.
No way.
Another truck. Look at it. Don't let them capture that point. If you can hold this point, I'll extract the...
Got her. Oh crap.
We have to... They're taking what's being...
Vlog coming our way. Vlog coming our way. We got a vlog coming our way.
I've got healing on you. Oh damn, he just punched the ass out that healing. He didn't give a fuck.
Okay, you got it.
I got you.
So when it comes to our overall sound design in this game, as far as character dialogue goes, it's actually really, really good. Your character has some awesome one-liners. When you perform like a double or triple kill, you get thrown out with that one-liner, and it just kind of throws you into the setting of the game. Really did enjoy that. The overall just ambiance of your characters talking to each other, again, another really nice feature of this game. I think that's a really good sound design. When it comes to actually ability skills, gun sounds, all that stuff is actually handled pretty excellently, and I think that it definitely does not break immersion in any stretch here when it comes to that sound. However, there is one place that the sound design is lacking in this game, and I think that is the soundtrack. Overall, the soundtrack is a little bit weak. There's really only one song, and it plays towards the end of the match, when things are getting tense, of course, if it's a close game, of course. But I would definitely like to see some more soundtrack choices and some more music to play, throughout the entire match. I think that there's moments, especially in a doll game, if you're in one of those lobbies, that just nothing seems to be going on, nobody's talking. It's very quiet, and it feels very empty, and I would definitely like to see in this area some more soundtrack options, because in playing a game like Hyperdash, the soundtrack is super immersive and it really gets you into the ebb and flow of the game, and there's really no ebb and flow sometimes in a lobby whenever your team's not communicating and there's really no music going on. So when it comes to our graphics here, overall, the graphics on this game are both a hit and a miss for me, and I only say that because of the performance issues that I had on PC. Playing this game on the Quest 2, obviously I'm a PCVR gamer, so when I go from PC to Quest, there's a dramatic drop-off in graphical quality. That's just the nature of it, but it runs really smooth on the Quest, so can't complain there, and the graphics for a Quest game are pretty solid. Now, here on the PC side of things, I had tremendous trouble with frame rate drops at times, and my machine is definitely capable. So before anybody goes and says, well, what's your machine specs? No, my machine is meant for VR. It's built for VR. So it's definitely not that. The game is just poorly optimized at launch. Now, however, I did find that whenever I reduced in my Oculus settings the Quest refresh rate to 80 Hertz, it significantly helped out my frame rate drop, and I didn't have near as much stuttering in the game. However, the stuttering is not a huge issue at times. It just only is periodically, and I found that, one map in particular had a little bit more frame rate rate heavy intensiveness than the others. But overall, reducing it down to 80 hertz made it much more playable, and the twitching and stuttering definitely went away to some extent. Now, there is still some times where I did experience frame rate drops, so that is something to be seen. But I think as the game continues to be optimized, that is going to improve, and you won't have that. Now, when it comes to screen door effect, there's really no screen door effect at all in this game. It's pretty much gone. That's a good thing. Little graphical details, such as weapon details, I really did enjoy. There's little ammo counters. You know, it all feels pretty good. Now, where the graphics, I think, suffer just a little bit here is, for whatever reason, they decided not to add stretchy arms. And I don't understand this decision, you know, because when you're holding your weapon and your controller's not exactly where your hand placement is on the weapon, there is controller drifting, and it actually shows your little controller in a hologram. This is incredibly immersion breaking, and I have no idea who signed off on this idea and thought it was good, because I can't tell you that, barring me using like the sniper rifle, I have so many issues where every gun I wield, my controllers are appearing and fading in and out, and it just drives me nuts. So in terms of graphical quality, the game actually has pretty solid graphics. I didn't have much complaints, but that was definitely one that was pretty immersion breaking. Okay, so when it comes to our verdict here, this game is very interesting. If any of you watched my live stream that I did of it on the premiere day, I had nothing but bad things to say about this game, and rightfully so. Really, the biggest thing that happened was they released an update that changed the sprinting, you know, where your arms were not automatically using the sprint now. Now you just have to lower your weapon to sprint. This in itself made this game playable, because before I actually couldn't play it. I was having no fun at all on my stream because it was so immersion breaking. Between some of the other things, the button reloads where your character does a manual reload or a automatic reload, and it's usually some animation, and it looks pretty cool on screen if you're watching, but it really does not feel good in game. It feels like your character is doing something that is not accustomed to what you are actually doing. You know, in virtual reality, you want to be actually doing these things. It's much better, in my opinion, to manually reload and then shoot somebody than to perform some cool animation that looks cool on screen but doesn't feel cool in game, and it does break immersion a little bit here. But the sprinting was the biggest thing. The sprinting actually made the game so, in my opinion, immersion breaking that it was not fun. And when they added that option to turn that off, it certainly changed the outlook of the game for me. I still have plenty of issues with the game. The controller drifting is incredibly immersion breaking, and the manual or the automatic reloads, the reload animations, definitely could be a little bit immersion breaking. But the reload thing is not the end of the world. I think I can get past that, you know, and I have for the most part. I've actually enjoyed playing this game of recent, so that's something that can get past. The controller drifting, where the controller holograms appear, that needs to be fixed immediately, because this is, again, another immersion breaking thing that can take you out of the action, and being taken out of the action in a VR game is the #1 way for your game to get stale. But once that is fixed, I mean, these things are some small things that I don't know how they ended up getting past the testers, because anytime person that was playing VR or has played VR would have stepped into this and been like, what is this? This is not a good game mechanic. There's plenty of games that have handled this in a much, much better way. So, but once they get past that and they are able to improve upon this, which they've already said that they are adding in manual reloads as well as a front hand aim option, which, you know, if you didn't know what that is, right now the game is pretty much you only aim. You do put two hands on your weapon and you do attach the other hand, but you only aim with your backhand. The front hand has no jurisdiction. You can move your controller all over the place and it doesn't affect your weapon. And somebody who's played a lot of shooter games in VR, this is pretty jarring for me, and it actually causes me to miss sometimes a lot more than I would like, because I am trying to use that front hand naturally to aim with. So I'm looking forward to that update coming up where they're going to fix that, as well as just some little things like the controller stuff and you know, being a little bit better optimized, you know, to have less frame rate drops and to really just feel like you're in the action a little bit more. But if we can get past all that stuff here, what is actually there on the surface is actually a solid game. You know, again, at first I really hated on this game. I didn't think it was going to be good. I really prefer developers not to release games in this state, but overall the foundation of what is actually in this game is pretty solid, and I think that it's going to have a pretty bright future. But currently with with where it's at and with only 4 maps and, you know, this amount of heroes, it's kind of a toss-up whether I feel this game is worth a buy or not right now. If you're somebody that really has been waiting for a hero shooter, you've played a lot of Overwatch and, you know, this is kind of your game, I would say buy it just because it has a pretty promising roadmap coming up with new characters, new maps, and some different things that they're promising down the line. They're promising continued support, so I think that's a really good thing. And if you're somebody who's on the fence and maybe not good at shooters, you don't really like competitive shooters, you know, you were only going to pick it up because it was supposed to be a big release, I would maybe hold off until there's a sale or just not buy it, at least in its current state. This game really is a toss-up. It's so hard because at first I was warning everybody not to buy this game because it was just so bad, but definitely the sprinting thing was by far the biggest thing. Like, the game was unplayable with it, and now it is definitely playable, and it is actually a lot of fun if you enjoy these type of games. Well, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you found this review of Larcenauts helpful. As of June 23rd right now, do not buy this game on Steam. They're still having compatibility issues with the Steam VR side of things, so make sure you check that Steam store page to see if they have updated and fixed the Steam VR compatibility issues before you buy it. I know, a lot of you are probably waiting to buy it on Steam. I was really wanted to wait to buy it on Steam myself because I really didn't want to give Facebook any money through the Oculus Store if I did not have to, but, you know, for my channel, sometimes I have to do things that I don't necessarily would like to do, but it is my duty to give you guys good quality content and, you know, reviews that can be trusted. So, with that being said, this game is a weird game, and I hope you guys did find it helpful. Whether or not you're going to buy it, I think overall it will be a solid investment long term, and they've already kind of made it pretty playable at this point, and, you know, over the next course of the couple months, I think the game's going to become one of the staple VR games, at least for team-based shooters, because everybody's been waiting for a hero shooter in VR. So, make sure you guys do drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.